Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Footy Banter and Insights. Varun and I are here to talk about a couple of very interesting topics. So, the first one we have titled Not London Nerves. Essentially, at the beginning of the month, or I would say at the beginning of March, there was a chance that Arsenal do the quadruple. I came across a very interesting quote. April is chaos, May is destiny. And it is never easy to reach May unscathed. And this has, you know, this has been proven in the best possible manner. So just to give one more line of context, so Arsenal lost to Southampton in the FA Cup over the weekend, and now they have a shot at the double. So let's see if Varun thinks that Arsenal can win the double this season.
Okay, so let's back it up a little bit. Um, if you just see Arsenal's performance, right, over the last say 2 months, let's assume like Feb and March, correct? Uh, I think this was coming. So even if I see, say for example, our game against Brighton, our game against Mansfield Town, the first leg at Leverkusen, the Everton game, we were very lucky to actually win that 2-0. Um, I think if you kind of look at all of these games and how we were playing, right, it was creating very few chances and kind of hoping that, we nick a goal here and nick a goal there and kind of win the game. Um, of course, that according to me becomes a little unsustainable, and we saw that trend continuing in the Carlin Cup or Carabao Cup final against Man City, where we lost 2-0, and then followed that up with a loss in the FA Cup against Southampton. Now, I like what's done is done, right? Like at the start of the year, no one actually expected us to kind of like be where we were at the start or at middle of March, right? So what the team had done, what Arteta had done, what the backroom staff had done, what everyone had done was significantly above at least my expectation. Correct. I wouldn't say above my expectation in terms of the quality of football, but definitely above my expectation in terms of the results and where we were in all the four competitions. Correct. So Carabao Cup is done, FA Cup is done, of course. Like these two are not the big competitions, but of course we would have loved to win this because we haven't won anything in the last few years now, right? But the big fish, the two big competitions are still ahead of us. I mean, and the biggest, according to me, the biggest one of them is the Premier League. Now, just to talk about the Premier League, our next two fixtures are at home to Bournemouth and away to Man City. Now, according to me, these two fixtures will define our season. So, if you look at it, currently we are 9 points ahead of Man City, with City having a game in hand. Assume they win that game, it's basically 6 points. Is the apples to apples gap. We drop points in the next game against Bournemouth, and we lose to City. It technically comes down to more or less equal number of points with 5 games to go, and that becomes like a dead heat. And I don't think Arsenal would want to get into that kind of a dead heat against City with 5 games to go, given the track record that Pep has in the last eight games of the season. I mean, it's phenomenal. Like these guys, Man City actually becomes like a beast, right? You have seen that 2 or 3 times how they have actually clinched the title just by their form in the last 8 games. So, so I think the next 2 games. So basically, like say the next 8 9 days, right? They 9 to 10 days, they become like the uh, utmost importance for Arsenal. Like, um, win your next game against Bournemouth, get a draw against Man City, and at that point, according to me, you are I would say at least have a reasonable probability of closing the league. Um, you fail to do that, I think all bets are off, according to me. So that for me is the Premier League. Now, if I look at the Champions League, right, again the performance against Sporting over the midweek wasn't that great. Correct. Sporting could have easily scored like a couple of goals, hit the bar once as well. Um, the kind of chances that we are kind of creating are not very good. um, so for me, Sporting at home should be relatively. We were lucky to go 1-0 up again. Like Havertz had a very neat finish. Martinelli, a good pass to him right at the end. Um, I think we were lucky to kind of get that 1-0 away to Sporting. I think we should be able to kind of clinch and settle the tie at home. Move forward in the semis. But do I see us winning the Champions League? I would definitely say a far cry. Because the way I'm seeing Bayern play, the way I'm seeing PSG play, these teams are playing at an unreal level. Just in terms of the movement of the ball, the passing, the shooting, the speed, the way they are set up, the way they are moving, players changing positions, exchanging places. It's unreal. Like especially Bayern. Like I mean, it's like looking at their game against Madrid. I was really surprised. So um, again, Champions League, I think take it one game by a time. We were lucky that, if Atletico qualifies ahead of Barcelona, we play Atletico, which gives us a much higher probability of going through to the finals. But again, Atletico is a good team. You can't take them for granted, correct? I mean, a simpler team compared to Barcelona, I would feel from an Arsenal perspective. Um, but again, Champions League, take it one game at a time. You have your Sporting at home next midweek. The main two games are English Premier League, which is Bournemouth at home and City away over the next 10 days. 2 points, according to me, that or 3 points that really need to be looked into over the next few games. One is the form of Ben White. Now, Ben White, according to me, has been one weak link in the defense. Even if you see the game against Man City, if you see the game in the FA Cup game, or even if you see the Sporting game, correct? A clear example was how Sporting created a chance by kind of playing a through ball between Ben White and Saliba in the first half. So I think that is something that we really like. We need Ben White really needs to step up right now in that right fullback role. I think we are really missing Timber. Unfortunate time to get that injury. Um, Second thing that we really need to look at is how we can get Zubomendi in the game much more. Now, what has happened over the past 2 months is Declan Rice has been coming way deeper than Zubomendi to collect the ball, which means that Zubomendi is not the one dictating the game or the pace of the game. He is not the director in the midfield. I think that role needs to be reversed. Zubomendi needs to come back deeper. He needs to dictate the tempo of the game. Declan Rice again can go into his left channel kind of a position, which he's kind of vacating quite a lot in the last few games. I think Zubomendi needs to kind of take a grip of that midfield going forward. Somehow get him more in the play. Like his distribution is top notch. His passing ability, his through balls are top notch. So I think we have to get him more in the plays somehow. The third thing is a top three. Now, and this has been my stance since the beginning of the season, right? Like when I look at the top three of Maduake, Gyökeres, and Trossard or Martinelli on the left. Now, this has been the combination for majority of the season. Um, and this is where I actually say where I feel that we have overperformed in terms of results. Correct? Because this, according to me, is a top three, which is bang average top three. It's not a top three that wins you the league. It's a top three which kind of I associate with the team which comes like sixth or seventh in the league. Right? I feel like teams like United have a better top three than this. Um, Chelsea at some stages have had a better top three than this. Uh, so I think that top three is kind of a weak point. I think they have to work very hard, work their socks off. I think some magic needs to happen over there. Somehow improve the efficiency in front of the goal. Um, Kind of take more shots. Even if it's half shots, Joker has a good long range on him. Take those shots, make those runs, fewer mistakes in terms of losing possession. I think even a 10% improvement or a 15% improvement from a top three can make a big difference. So, three important aspects that uh, really need to be kind of addressed if we want to kind of win the league from here. Yeah.
So let me weigh in with some views here. One, the Carabao Cup final against Man City. I think City tactically ensured that they show a plan of how to face this Arsenal side. So the defenders, they were not pressing the defenders anymore. They were pressing the channels to where the defenders could pass, which made, I think, it very difficult for them to kind of progress the ball in the way they would have liked to. Second, whenever they went long, the City defenders were able to, let's say, get their head on the first ball. And if they missed it, then they were able to get the second balls better. And I think with a team like Arsenal, I would honestly say, except for a few weeks in the season, I think this is the worst Arsenal have played in the sense that they are playing winning football, but it is possibly the worst I have seen them play in the longest of time because there is a very clear. They are defensively excellent. They rely on set pieces and they rely on big players to get them ahead, and then they try to waste time a lot. And although this works very well in terms of winning the league, I think somewhere along the line, the kind of quality that they have, they are not able to do justice by it. And I think that is where they have been struggling big time. So if I look at it one by one, so defensively, and if you actually look at the, let's say, the facts that whenever Kepa has started, that is when they look at their worst. So if Raya is there, it still gives them a big chance. So my actual prediction would be that I see Raya starting every single game from now till the end of the season. I actually think that Arsenal can win the league at City away because I don't see Raya conceding a goal in that kind of a game. I think he will be at his very best and he will do everything in his power to get that draw. And City, in fact, I think I can see them losing one game, uh, possibly. Like, I don't know, like, just they have Chelsea away, and Chelsea are under huge pressure as well. So if Chelsea can nick a draw, that will really dent City's title hopes for sure. So I think from a league perspective, because of Arsenal's defense and their keeping, I think they still have a very, very big advantage. Completely agree on the Ben White call. I think the Southampton error was completely because of his error that the goal actually went. Plus, I think overall, even in the England game, he wasn't the best. So I think he has been underperforming for sure. And of course, Timber is possibly one of the best in the world right now. So whenever he is not on the pitch, it's a big miss for sure. Uh, on the point of Zubimendi and Rice, again, I agree with that. But I actually feel, despite the fact that Arsenal are not playing at their best, they have a team which can really upset the likes of Bayern and PSG because Bayern and PSG are not able to let's say they have a very clear, distinct style of play and identity, the way they want to play, progressions, players being switched. Whereas Arsenal are so direct and so physical that I can actually see them dominating a team like a PSG or a Bayern just by keeping it very, very, let's say, solid, and then scoring via set pieces or via the odd attack. So I actually feel right now, despite the fact that, matlab, I would honestly say that the semi-final may be more tougher than the final, because an Atletico team would be more adept at the dark arts compared to a PSG or a Bayern. So I agree that Sporting possibly should have got a goal. The fact that they did not, I think the tie is more or less done now. I don't see Arsenal losing at home to a Sporting side. And the next
Hopefully,
leg,
yeah.
possibly. And honestly, I think if I was an Arsenal fan or an Arsenal management player, I would want to face Barca rather than Atletico, because a Barca plays with such a high line and they are going to be offensively better. But over two legs, I feel Arsenal will find it easier to beat Barcelona rather than Atletico Madrid. So
Interesting.
the ball is in Arsenal's court, and I think honestly, this is the best opportunity for them to win the double. Because if they don't win at least a title, then Arteta's job will be under threat. A lot of changes will happen, and it just sets the club a little bit on the back foot. Whereas if they win this year, then Arteta gets a free hand for another few seasons for sure.
See, for me, I mean, again, like I totally understand like where you're coming from when you say Barcelona plays a high line and that's an advantage. But the thing is that we don't have the players to take advantage of that. And that's where the problem lies. So I don't Gyökeres is not the fastest in the world, or he's not that good at making runs behind the defense. Now, if you look at the left hand side, Trossard is not that fast. Correct? He's not that quick. Martinelli probably is, but his control, his finishing is not that great. Correct. On the other hand, Maduake is very quick, but he never makes those kind of runs, and he's not good at beating the offside trap. Majority of the time, he gets caught offside. Now, that's what I'm saying. If this front three can extract a little bit more from themselves, or kind of step up to the plate, get into that purple patch uh, for the next 4 weeks, that will be great. Correct. Um, again, I would say even the Man City game, right? Like I completely agree. So with Kepa, the problem is he's not that good with his feet. He's not that good in terms of his confidence of kind of playing those shorter passes to the defenders. Now that happened in Carabao Cup final as well, where City were like, okay, let us leave him alone, let him play the long ball. We know there is Gyökeres, Maduake, Martinelli up front. All three of them are not good at keeping the ball when there's a long ball. Let them play the long ball, and they kept Kepa kept playing the long ball, and we kept losing the ball in the second half, right? And that's where the difference lies, where someone like Raya would be very confident about moving the ball to the defense and passing through the defense. So I think, yeah, of course, it's a big difference, but I'm sure Pep will come up to a solution with Rafa Raya as well. I think he is too clever a manager to not find the solution to that as well. It's see again, right? Like it's a catch 22 situation. Now, if I look at it, I don't think like the league is even done after the first two kind of the next two games, because if I look at the following fixtures that Arsenal has, we are playing three bogey teams of ours. uh, One is Newcastle, the other is West Ham, and the third one is Crystal Palace. Out of this, West Ham and Crystal Palace are away. West Ham is in the relegation fight, so it's not going to be easy. Correct. West Ham away game is not going to be easy. Newcastle, of course, has always been a bogey team for us over the last few years. Crystal Palace, the same way, right? We typically lose points to these teams over the
I
last.
think
We have lost
Palace
points to these teams.
Palace
Palace
should
and
be
that too
winnable
away.
because they have nothing to play for.
Yeah, but away Palace, you never know. Anyways, Palace is the last game. I'm hoping till then it's a more clearer picture. but definitely like Newcastle at home and West Ham away are going to be very tricky fixtures as well for us. We need to win those fixtures, and even if we have that kind of a buffer zone is not a done deal. You have to be on it, right? We need, as of now, we need 15 points out of the remaining 21 as the thing stands, which means we have to win 5 games out of, you lose one to City, and then that means you have to win 5 out of the remaining 6, which is still a tough ask. So it's not going to be easy. I mean, take it one game at a time, win the next game at Bournemouth, go to City, probably get a draw over there. I think that kind of calms the nerves down, and then continue from there.
Let's see. Will be interesting. I still think that Arsenal
Yeah.
hold the edge right now, especially in the league and possibly in the Champions League, because we've seen them beat this very strong Bayern side earlier in the season as well. So it'll be interesting to see whether they can, either repeat that feat or possibly, let's say, get revenge on PSG for last year. Varun, I think your network is down. I cannot. Yeah, now it's back
Hey,
up.
am I back? Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
No.
So as I was saying, it's a very different thing when it comes to the Champions League, right? Arsenal are usually a team that does really well in the group stages. So even if you see last year, we beat PSG in the group stage, but we lost to them in the semi-finals. Now, when you look at the continental teams, these guys, for some reason, their form actually peaks in March and April, right? So these guys go like this, whereas Arsenal goes like this in terms
No,
of
but
form.
a reason for that is the grueling intensity of the Premier League, plus the
Of
fact
course,
that other European clubs are supported by their FAs a lot. So, for
true,
instance,
true,
PSG's match is usually cancelled or preponed to a Friday night so that they get an extra day to prepare.
correct.
Whereas an Arsenal possibly they would be facing a tough fixture, and then again they are going to be facing midweek, let's say with 1 or 2 days less rest. So I think that plays a big part. And with Bayern
Definitely.
in general, they have won the league already, so they can actually rest the entire team and still be fresh.
Correct, correct. So that, according to me, is a big difference in terms of the form going into these games, right? So that is one. Second, to your point, I feel an important thing is when it comes to Arteta, right? I feel, again, as I said, right, like if you roll back time and if you see my comments on where I expected Arsenal to be at the end of the season when the season was starting, I didn't expect them to win the league because I know the top three is not good enough to win the league. And I held that kind of a opinion since the beginning of the season. Now, of course, as I said, I am extremely surprised, not with the performance, because the performance hasn't been that great. But because I have, for me, having watched Arsenal games week in, week out, I don't think the quality of football is very good. The quality of football have has been very average. But the fact that Arteta has found a way of focusing on set pieces, has found a way to kind of extract the best out of the remaining players apart from the top three, I think is actually gotten us results which are better than expected. And that's where our league position actually hides the fact as to the kind of improvement that needs to be done in the top three. Now, did I expect Arteta to win the league? No. So even if Arteta, according to me, doesn't win the league this year, correct? I won't be one of those people which that would feel that Arteta needs to go. According to me, I think he has outperformed what my expectation was in terms of the results. So yeah, like if you would have asked me, did I expect at game number 31, us being 6 points ahead of Man City on a like to like basis, I would have said no. That's not what I expected at the beginning of the season. So if I check my from my report card point of view, given the bottlenecks that he has, I think he has found much better solutions than I expected to win games. Basically, so of course there have been points where he has made mistakes and everything, but I think that's every manager does that. And the second most important thing is just like as I've always been said, that ability or that know-how of winning. Arsenal team lacks that. Arteta, being a young manager, lacks that. On the flip side, Guardiola knows how to win, right? And that makes a big, big difference in the run-in when it comes to March, April, May. Hopefully they cross that hurdle. Hopefully, like this is they have a good chance. Um, but let's see. Final few steps left, and hopefully they do well.
Cool. Second topic of the day is all about the Champions League quarters. We've already touched up a bit on the Arsenal versus Sporting game, so we'll focus on the remaining three. We have termed it Champions League chaos. And the reason I say that is because if I look at all three other fixtures, so Atletico went away to Barcelona and they got a 2-0 win. And I don't know why, but I see a trend that all big games, big knockout games wherein Barca play, they usually end up 10 men and they usually end up with a defender red card in the first half. I think this is the third time I'm seeing this in the last 5 seasons, which is crazy. And
Hmm.
there was a very nice article which I had come across, and I was reading some quotes around it. So it was very interesting. Ki Atletico didn't park the bus; they actually built a garage and started charging Barcelona rent because they actually waited for the right moments and they really dismantled the fixture completely. So it was a very good way of seeing the fixture.
Do you
The
think it was a red card?
honestly, yeah, like again, watching a game live and watching the highlights, you have a different perspective, right? So like I really like if I speak to the Barcelona fans, they are not completely saying it wasn't a red. So if I give the example, Simeone got ahead, he purposefully slowed down, and he purposefully slowed down to get contact. Now at that juncture it becomes a referee's interpretation. So could he have avoided contact? Yes, but he, played the defender to kind of get him sent off. That was my interpretation. What was yours?
I think it was very soft.
Yeah,
I
because
think it was very soft.
he played it right. Like you could see essentially what he was doing.
Yeah. I think it's a yeah. I mean it. I would have kind of understood if he wouldn't have given that a red card as well. Like I was like, yeah, this red card could have been avoided
Hmm.
because I don't think the intent of the defender was to foul him. In
Hmm.
fact, if you see, the defender was trying to kind of
Avoid.
put the brakes on and kind of get out of that tackle.
That's
Correct?
that's where he was very smart because he was also trying to get that contact so that he can go down.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel a very soft penalty. In fact, if you ask me, there was another very controversial penalty decision in the PSG Liverpool
Liverpool.
game where the referee first gave a penalty and then kind of overturned it. I felt that was more of a penalty than this was a penalty. Um, I don't know. Like, what was your take on that other penalty decision?
I haven't seen the PSG Liverpool game to be honest. Only Bayern Madrid and snippets of the Barca Atletico.
So in that game also, it was more like a controversial decision because, of course, at the end, the defender gets a touch on the ball. But what happens before he gets a touch on the ball is the striker trying to take a shot. The defender hits him from behind. Of course, he gets thrown off from that shot, and then the defender goes through the striker and then touches the ball. But before that, before he touches the ball, the striker is already off balance because of the contact, and he's off balance on his shot because of that contact. So I feel again like having played as a striker when I know ki, like if you get a contact before obviously in your stride when you are trying about to kick the ball and you get a contact, you're already off it, and that kind of gives a chance then to kind of defender to come and tackle the ball. Again, I felt that penalty could have been given. In fact, that game going to 3-0 would have definitely killed it off. Uh, but yeah, coming back to the Barcelona Madrid.
So let's break it down into two sections. One is which result surprised you the most, number one, and do you see a comeback in either of the games?
Bayern Madrid was a real surprise. I don't like Bayern were too good. I mean, Harry Kane is like I feel it's like a perfect utilization of a Harry Kane in a role, right? Like I feel it is. Yeah, of course, Bayern have been great throughout the season, right? You could see them in the group stages. You can see them before this game as well. But the execution that they did versus Madrid was top notch. Correct. Neuer at 40 is still kind of making those kind of saves is like unreal, right? Like it's kind of
He was the man of the match, by the
reversing back time,
way.
right?
Yeah.
It was really good to see the way he was performing. Bayern again, like I mean, I was really impressed. Although I felt Madrid had a few good opportunities, Vinicius Junior missed couple of easy chances which he could have scored. Um,
On that subject, do you think so? I was going through the lineups of Madrid over the last 7 games. So Mbappe was out for 5 of those, which they won. Mbappe
Correct.
came back in the team against Mallorca over the weekend in La Liga and they lost. And again, this time they tried to play with two, in a way, Mbappe and Vini together, and again they lost. So do you think Mbappe being in the team is actually hurting Madrid?
I don't think so. Not
Okay.
from not from my vantage point when I saw that game,
Hmm.
because I felt if that would have, for me the two questions are, did Madrid create enough?
Hmm.
And the answer to that is yes. Could they have done better at taking those chances? Again, the answer is yes. Had they taken their chances, could they have kind of come up with a draw or won the game? Again, the answer is yes. So Vinicius Junior taking couple of his chances would have made a lot of difference. Mbappe got into a lot of good positions. Of course, as I said, Neuer made really good saves,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
When the keeper is
And
the man of the match, it obviously means that it wasn't about
exactly,
the Bayern team going forward. It was actually about keeping them out.
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Did Madrid create those kind of chances? Yes. Could they have done better in taking those chances? Yes. And so, to your previous questions, can I see this reversing if Madrid take their chances? Correct. If they are a little more clinical in front of the goal, definitely why not? I mean, I think they have those kind of players that on their day kind of score 3 goals. Mbappe can easily score 3 goals. Vinicius can easily score 3 goals on their day, kind of a thing. Uh, Trent actually created couple of really good chances as well. I mean, um, again, he was doing really well. Coming to their defense, I think that is one place they need to improve on. It's like I think why they created too many chances, they gave away a lot of easy chances to Bayern as well. Upamecano missed the sitter in the first half. Um, so it's not as if like I think the defense needs to be a little more solid, and going forward they need to take more chance. Like they need to be a little bit more clinical. And I think the game is still in the balance. With 2-1, I think you cannot rule Madrid out.
What about Liverpool under the lights at Anfield? Can they conjure up some spirits and defeat PSG by
Yeah,
three
I
goals?
would say Liverpool of old, yes, but they are so out of form, and there's no break in between this game and the next game. It's like literally 1 week. Can they turn their form in 1 week? Very difficult. So based on current form, it seems difficult. but never say never when it comes to Liverpool at Anfield in a Champions League night. So that is the only reason why I would give them like a 20% probability of kind of coming away with anything in this game. But I see it's 80% PSG, according to me, kind of wrapping up this fixture. Again, the first goal becomes very important. PSG gets the first goal, the game is done. The crowd is silenced. Liverpool gets the first goal, and the crowd is up for it. Anything can happen. So it's just depends now. It's like, yeah, it's going to be a good game. Uh,
Think PSG are gonna miss Donnarumma big time now. You can win the league without him. You can reach, let's say, the quarters or let's say the knockout stages without him. But in these
yeah.
moments, because I remember distinctly last year against Arsenal,
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
essentially kept Arsenal out on his own. And
Yeah.
I think Chevalier is good, and they have another keeper who's been, let's say, playing a part. But I think without Donnarumma, maybe they are much, much, much weaker in these knockout games.
Definitely. So last year against Arsenal, I think Donnarumma for me was a player of the tie
Yeah, yeah.
across
Why?
both the games. Like remove him from that equation, Arsenal would have definitely kind of I think three saves or something or three or four saves that he made
Yeah,
across the two games. I
correct.
think were world class. I mean, so yeah, I definitely agree. Like I think even yesterday against Liverpool, I think there were like couple of situations where I felt that if Donnarumma was here, it would have been a much cleaner save or like a much better outcome. Luckily, I mean nothing happened for PSG, but I think you're right. Like if they go through on they are playing Madrid or Bayern, Donnarumma, I think they might miss Donnarumma going forward. Absolutely spot on.
Cool. And
What
the
do you
last,
think about Barcelona Madrid, Atletico in the reverse fixture?
so again, very tricky. One, Barca beat Atletico at the Wanda Metropolitana over the weekend. So they basically got in a good lead in the league now. And without Kubalsi, I really rate Kubalsi as a great defender. Without him, their defense is even weaker for the away leg now. And if we look at a combination, Araujo plus Gerard Martin may start at the back in the center defense. I think with Barca, you can always come back because of Yamal. If Rafinha is at his best, Lewandowski can always get a goal as well. But
Yeah,
I think there were two things happening before the game started. One was that Simeone in his press conference gave a very heartwarming speech about Griezmann and how this would be his final year and he would want to give him the best possible, uh, let's say, leave.
farewell.
Yeah, farewell. So I think the team is going to be playing for him quite a bit, and that would be
Yeah,
the kind of noise which will be coming in internally from their ranks, right? So I think it's not going to be just tactical; it's going to be very emotional also. And Atletico are such a emotional team that if you kind of give into their their play, then they are going to kill you. So I think I would say they still have the upper hand for sure. If, like you said, like you mentioned with the Liverpool PSG game, if Barca do get the first goal, then it will be very interesting. Otherwise, Atletico have the capability of kind of just closing it even at a 1-0 loss. I think that is the advantage which they have.
definitely. Like just how solid Atletico are defensively, right?
But
I
this
feel
year, just caveating that this year they have not been defensively solid. If I look at their stats, it's not been very defensively solid. I'm relying on the fact that Simeone in a one-off game can get that back.
Of course, of course. But yeah, they have that ability to kind of
Yeah,
shut teams off, right? Like even in the first leg, they were very, very rigid when at the back, right? They were very, very like they played really well. They closed down the lines. They kind of strangled Barcelona, right, going forward. And I think they can do that in the second leg as well, especially at home. I mean, so even I feel at 1-0 also is like uh, a result where, as you said, right, like Atletico can stop them at one goal as well. It's possible. So it's not that.
Even in this game, Yamal had a great opportunity. Like he wriggled past almost four defenders and just fired wide. I think if that
Correct.
goal would have gone in, I think it would have really helped them a lot.
I feel the biggest difference for Barcelona is going to be Rafinha versus Rashford. Now, Rashford, according to me, is definitely nowhere close to Rafinha when it comes to the kind of output, the finishing, the runs, the passes, the entire quality of the game. Rafinha is definitely
Varun, you're on mute.
I'll be back.
Uh, there is a disturbance in the sound.
Can you hear me?
There's some disturbance on the line.
Uh, for some reason, I can't get the disturbance.
Now
Is
it's
this
better.
better?
But
Okay.
बीच में अभी
Okay.
ठीक है. Yeah, we can continue now.
Okay. Um. So yeah, I was saying that Rafinha and Rashford makes a big difference. Um. So yeah, I mean, if they can get Rafinha fit in time for the next fixture, that can make a big difference to Barcelona. What was your view on the Madrid Bayern? Do you think Madrid can come back?
Once again, like very similar view that Bayern's gameplay is brilliant and they essentially dominate most of the games that they play. Now, Kane, Diaz, and Olise, I think this is possibly the best front three in Europe, the most balanced front three in Europe. Because Diaz takes his position, defends really well. Olise takes his position on the right and he is able to cut in, go out wide. He's able to do a lot of different things. And Kane functions primarily both as a number nine as well as an auxiliary number 10. So I think from a front three perspective, it would be very difficult to see Madrid not conceding with their defense. So that essentially means can Madrid score three at the Allianz Arena? And although in the Champions League, Madrid have been blessed with, I would say, all the wishes in the world, but just going by, let's say, rational judgment, I feel Bayern can close it out.
Definitely, like I would have my money on Bayern as well, but with an outside chance of Madrid pulling out something from the hat.
They've done it before,
Given like,
like
yeah,
Chelsea under Tuchel. Modric did a Travella pass to Rodrigo and they won in the last moment. Against City, they've done it twice now. So I think
correct.
Madrid, even when they aren't favorites, they kind of just save something special in the end. But
Correct.
usually in those ties, the second leg is at the Bernabeu. This time
Yes.
the
Yes.
second leg is Alliance, which will be a big
Yeah.
difference.
Correct. Correct. True. True. Anything else that we need to kind of you want us to kind of touch on?
No, I think let's wait for the next week's fixture now, and looking forward to seeing how things unravel. So it'll
Yeah.
be interesting.
Yes, definitely crucial. Crucial. As I said, next 10 days, especially for Arsenal. I am really looking forward to it. Let's see. I hope kind of we come unscathed from this. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So yeah, great. Let's wrap it up.
Sure.
Great. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. Do let us know what you think about Arsenal's chances for the rest of the season. What do you think could be the results for the second leg of the quarterfinals? We would love to hear from you. Till then, we'll see you next week. Bye bye.